AI is a critical conference 2025. As you might be aware, issues of AI and the question of trust are a key issue that raises contestations depending on which audiences you are addressing. In Africa and the global south, issues of generative artificial intelligence and information integrity comes to the fore. Highly mainly because the issues of information integrity requires accuracy, consistency, and reliability of information. And yet, with the evolution of AI, it can spread misinformation and information disorders at a fast pace. The solution to this requires an ethical framework approach and regulatory frameworks that minimizes harm and equally pushes through the citizens of Africa to be building agency in how they relate with technology. The second issue is about digital media and information literacy. As you might be aware, the Afrobarometer 2023-2024 highlights that 70% plus of Africans do not trust AI, which entails that there is need to increase literacy and digital literacy and media literacy so that Africans are not only engaged with artificial intelligence at user levels, but also equally move a gear and a notch up towards curating and creating enterprises that resolve solutions that are related to artificial intelligence. Above all, those who are keen enough on developing these solutions from the African continent give us the scope and scale to be active players in the ecosystem of artificial intelligence development. Why? Because most of the artificial intelligence systems come from the global north and you have got serious misrepresentation and biases that they taint the quality of information and engagement in the global south, which entails the need to develop industries that promotes and push the issues of integrity and literacy so that Africans become active players in the AI ecosystems. The third issue is around intellectual property in the age of AI. As you might be aware, the intersection of AI and IP rights raises complex issues at legal and philosophical levels. Who is going to be attributed for creative pieces that emerge out of using AI? Yet others who might have conceptualized or innovated around issues or invented issues and yet copyright are never compensated as the AI revolution moves on. It leaves a lot of gaps. Moreover, in the age of AI and blockchains and open source movements actually celebrating the revolutionary nature of AI, we must equally come up with regulatory measures that mitigates vulnerability of African societies and protection of their indigenous knowledge systems. Why not ensuring that we reposition our young users and young population, the youth dividend, to play an active role in startups that create solutions to the whole conundrum of artificial intelligence. The fourth issue is around AI and public access to information held by public bodies. As you know, in our society in Africa and the global south, the bulk of information is held by the governments. And with AI, it can be used to process this data so that it is retrievable, it is usable in a way that is organized. But that is not a magic formula. What needs to happen is that the developers should, at design level, come up with mechanisms that ensure that their standards, there are issues to do with the quality of data, the usability of data, traceability of data, so that it builds into a public service code. But we cannot only come up with such blanket statements. We are not talking of data held by public entities, governments, because they come up with the jurisdictional mandates to process that data. Without localization of AI development, without a pan-African approach of building our own ecosystems in AI that can be utilized to process data that is held by governments into meaningful data, we risk having another wave of coloniality, wherein the global north brings the software that processes the data and is domiciled elsewhere. What we want is a proactive approach where the SMEs, the young innovators, entrepreneurs, come up with solutions that are domiciled within the African continent and are actually working towards revolutionarily reconfiguring our society in a meaningful manner. And AI is within our arm's reach to go that notch higher. The last component that will be critical for this AI for access to information conference is the issue of AI safety, security, and risk. At development stage, the developers should ingrain in the systems of AI issues to do with privacy, issues to do with cyber security, so that the levels of trust can actually improve. Issues of ethical guidelines, issues of the rigor in testing and trial running the issues of artificial intelligence before making it public, so that it mitigates the biases, it mitigates the perpetuation of stereotypes, but it becomes relevant to the African jurisdiction. But you cannot talk of AI in the African context without talking of other issues which are structural in nature. Issue of energy, energy production, energy development, because AI is strong on energy consumption. Issues of managing our water systems. If you are going to come up with servers and others, they are quite huge on water consumption. Issues to do with reconfiguring the levels of infrastructure so that we minimize, close the divide between those who can access and those who are not accessing. It's not only about raw urban, but even within the urban, there are marginalized communities that are still struggling to get access to online spaces. But above that, we want to ensure that Africans are not mere passers-by, mere observers in this fourth industrial revolution, fourth technological revolution, like what they did in the other first revolution when we were still under slavery. This time we're not under slavery, we must dare to reconfigure the AI ecosystem so that the levels of trust are higher among Africans, and then stimulate issues to do with innovations, inventions, to better enhance our quality of life and societal development.